Comparison is an invisible prison, and at the same time, a desperate attempt to belong. You're not trying to be better than anyone. You just want to feel like you're enough. But somewhere along the way, something gets lost. Without even noticing, you end up stuck in a game you never signed up for. A game of sideways glances, other people's wins, and rules that were never yours. And every victory that's not yours quietly starts to feel like a personal failure. It's subtle. You open your phone looking for some lightness, and walk away with a weight on your chest. The perfect image, the polished life, the smiles that never seem to crack. They cling to you like a second skin that doesn't quite fit. But still, you try. You push yourself to look like you're doing okay. You build versions of yourself that don't hurt as much, that don't cry as often, that don't mess up. Because it feels like the world has no room for those who feel too deeply, who slow down, who need time, and that's when the prison forms. Glass walls, no one sees them, but you feel every inch. Every comparison leaves a crack in how you see yourself. Like looking at someone else starts to erase who you are, and the irony is brutal. The more you try to belong, the more you drift away from yourself. As if being accepted means betraying your own essence. But what if the problem was never you? What if this whole chase isn't freedom, but just another way of feeling trapped? Have you ever noticed how comparison rarely comes from admiration? It usually comes from a quiet kind of emptiness, a need we don't quite know how to fill, so we end up using other people as mirrors. But they're warped mirrors. It's not that you're jealous. It's just that when someone else shines, your own light feels a little dimmer, and you start wondering, why can't I do that? Why does it hurt so much to feel behind? It's like everyone got handed a map, except you. And that's when the digital pilgrimage begins. Scroll like sigh, scroll, compare, silence. Scroll, guilt. Other people's wins stop being just wins. They turn into reminders of what you still haven't done. Their success becomes a mirror that only reflects what you're not. And here's the cruel part. You start doubting even the things that used to bring you joy. Is this really enough? Are people going to think it's too little? Am I just fooling myself? Suddenly, living isn't about feeling anymore. It's about proving. Proving that you're okay. Proving that you matter. Proving you deserve to be seen. But living based on someone else's reflection is like walking through a hallway of mirrors. Each one feels more real than you. And the more you chase some perfect version of life, the further you drift from who you actually are. You feel that, don't you? That deep exhaustion from trying to fit into a mold you didn't even choose. That quiet craving to just be, without comparing all the time. But you don't quite know how to stop. Because everything around you keeps whispering that not being enough is just normal now. There's a measuring stick. You can't see it in photos. It doesn't have numbers or a clear scale, but it's there, getting placed over you every single day. It's the thing that tells you how much you should be doing, how much you should be feeling, how much you should have achieved by now. It hides in casual comments like, so-and-so already bought a house, so-and-so already has 2 kids, so-and-so is already a manager, already traveled, already married, already, and that word, already, turns into a blade. It slices through your present with everything you're not yet. It erases your journey in the name of a timeline that was never yours. This measuring stick is brutal because it keeps moving. Even when you hit a milestone, it's already asking for the next one. It doesn't want you to feel proud. It wants you to feel not enough. Always. And the cruelest part? You start believing that this stick is yours. You start using it to measure your worth. You tell yourself, you can only rest after doing more. that you can only be loved once you've fixed everything, that you'll only be someone once you finally get there. But where exactly is there? Have you ever stopped to ask that? Maybe there is just a mirage, a place that never actually arrives, because it only lives in someone else's expectations. And while you chase it, life quietly passes you by. That invisible stick becomes a leash, and you turn into your own executioner, punishing yourself for things no one asked of you, carrying shame for failures no one even saw. You live tired, but you can't stop, because stopping would feel like betrayal, like admitting that maybe you're just human, and maybe that's the biggest taboo of our time, to accept that our pace is different, that our story doesn't follow their plot, that someone else's ruler will never measure the truth that lives inside us. And yet, you still try. You shrink to fit. You stay quiet so you won't look weak. You lose yourself, just to look like you've got it all together. And the question that echoes in the back of your mind is simple and cruel. If I stop chasing this, will I still be loved? Sometimes we wear what people expect from us, not because we want to, but because we learned way too early that being accepted comes with a price, and that price is usually leaving pieces of ourselves behind. You start changing your voice, choosing your words carefully, smiling when what you really need is silence. You rehearse softer versions of yourself, versions that hurt less, that fit into the mold, that please, that don't cause any trouble. And slowly, you drift away from who you are. Like looking in the mirror and not recognizing the reflection. Not because it's broken, but because it's wearing a mask. It's like living in borrowed skin, pretty on the outside but too tight on the inside. You feel suffocated, but you've forgotten what it's like to live any other way. And the scariest part? Sometimes that borrowed skin gets applause, you get praise, likes, validation, but inside, something stays empty, like they're clapping for someone who isn't really you. And you accept it. Because it hurts less to be accepted as someone else than to be rejected for being yourself. But that disguise comes with a cost. It shows up as anxiety, out of nowhere. It shows up in your body when it starts screaming everything your voice never said. It shows up in your relationships where you feel alone, even when you're not. Trying to please is a kind of exhaustion that doesn't show up in photos. It's waking up tired of being yourself. It's forgetting what you actually want because you're so busy meeting what everyone else expects. Have you ever asked yourself who you'd be if you weren't always trying to perform? That question stings because maybe you don't even know the answer anymore. Maybe you never had the space to find out. But deep inside, beneath the fear, beneath the masks, there's a version of you waiting to be rescued. Not perfect, not flawless, but real, alive, yours. And maybe the first step isn't ripping off the mask all at once. Maybe it's simply asking, why am I still wearing this? Maybe you've never really seen yourself. There's always been a filter, a comparison, an invisible ruler between you and your own reflection. And now, the mirror feels foggy. Not because you're unclear, but because you've spent so long trying to be what others expected. You forgot what it's like to simply see yourself. The world taught you that value only comes with proof, that love only comes with performance, that you only belong if you conform. But what if all of that is a lie? What if you don't need to fit in, to be valid? What if your timing is still sacred, even if it's different? What if your voice deserves to be heard, even when it shakes? Because behind every moment of comparison, there's a silent plea, see me, accept me, tell me I'm enough. Even now, even like this, even imperfect. And maybe no one's ever said that to you. But I will. You are more than someone else's reflection. More than numbers, likes, titles, or milestones. You are the only real measure of yourself. And comparison only grows strong in places where we forget. Forget who we are. Forget what we've been through. Forget what we feel when no one else is watching. So before you measure yourself again, pause, breathe, and ask, is this ruler even mine? If it's not, don't use it. If it hurts, don't keep holding it. If it pulls you away from yourself, it's not worth it. Start slow. You don't need to fight the whole system. Just stop, abandoning yourself, and one day, gently, you'll clear that mirror, not to see others more clearly, but to finally, truly see yourself, and maybe, for the first time, you'll smile back, if this stirred something inside you. Maybe it's time to stop comparing and start listening. Subscribe to keep this quiet conversation going with your own mind.